Good morning, everyone. My name is Cameron Davis, and I'm here today to tell you a little bit about a condition called rheumatoid arthritis, otherwise known as RA. Rheumatoid arthritis is an inflammatory condition that affects people's joints and can be extremely painful, and over a long course of time can actually cause bone and cartilage damage. Rheumatoid arthritis is a chronic condition, and that means that it can affect someone for their entire life. It's an autoimmune response, which basically means the body itself is causing the inflammation. When exactly RA came to be is still somewhat debated. The first documented case in modern medicine is in the medical dissertation of Augustin Jacob Landry-Beauvoir from the year 1800. So at the very least, we know for a fact that it's been affecting people since the 1800s. There's also a lot of debate around the writings of the famous Hippocrates. Famous authors like William Sidney Charles Copeman, who was an author who wrote about the history of gout and arthritis. He believed that Hippocrates wrote about people affected by RA, and if that was true, that would mean that the condition is even older than the Greco-Roman era. The other clue to the existence of RA before the 1800s is actually artwork. This painting that you can see here, this is called The Three Graces, and it was painted by a Peter Paul Rubens in the year 1638. And as you can see, there's some very disfigured and sort of gnarled hands on this poor woman, which points to the fact that RA was still sort of an everyday occurrence, even back in the 1600s. After the turn of the 1800s, and sort of as the Industrial Revolution started, arthritis, like many diseases, was still sort of associated with spiritual or demonic influence, and was still very much stigmatized, and it wasn't really until the early 1900s that doctors really tried to find a cure for RA. A lot of doctors focused around the ideas of diet, what types of nutrients and vitamins could help a patient, and somewhat more extreme routes. They even tried things like injecting melted gold, like the metal, into patients' joints, and that wasn't really proven to be effective. It's actually proven to be somewhat dangerous. And it wasn't really until recently, as in the past 20 to 30 years, that doctors were actually made any significant evidence or any discovery that led towards treating RA. In 2005, doctors discovered a cell called Th17, which you can see a picture of it here. This cell basically helps influence autoimmune responses, specifically in the area of inflammation. As we know, RA is an inflammatory disease, right? So doctors think that with more research, they may be able to regulate those cells and thus regulate the inflammatory symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis. Looking into the future, there's a lot of hope. They have a lot of high hopes for these Th17 cells as a treatment, but there's still significantly more research that would need to be done. And with more research requires more fundraising. Basically, RA makes like pennies compared to other disease and conditions like cancer when they do fundraisers. And if we're ever really going to find a cure for rheumatoid arthritis, we as healthcare educators need to help make the public aware of what RA is and how they can help donate to the cause. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for your time, and I cannot wait to hear from all of you about your research. Thank you.